Naturally, as a hunter-focused player, the first new Stasis subclass that I just had to get my hands on was the REVENANT Stasis Hunter. I've been having a blast playing it in both PvE and PvP, and I wanted to give you a quick overview of how it works and some tips that I've learned from my playtime to get the most out of the subclass. Since Beyond Light has only been out for a few days, there are some aspects that it seems we just don't have access to unlock yet, as well as a limit on how many fragments we can obtain. So this video will cover what I have access to play with so far, and I'll do an updated Stasis Hunter guide including build suggestions once we have it fully unlocked in a few weeks. So let's start with the abilities from left to right. In the first slot we have our dodge options with the choice between Marksman's Dodge and Gambler's Dodge. Personally, for PvP, I tend to pick Gambler's Dodge because of the better animation for being evasive, as well as the ability to get your melee charge back faster. Marksman's Dodge is also a great option though, especially for weapons that have perks like Kill Clip, where you want to activate that reload immediately and get back into the fight. The second slot contains our jump options. These are the same ones as the other hunter subclasses: high jump, strafe jump, and triple jump. For PvP, I tend to prefer strafe jump for the better directional control in the air. Okay, now in slot 3 we're starting to get into the fun stuff. Withering Blade is the new charged melee which throws stasis shurikens. You get 2 charges, but you only spawn into a game with 1 charge activated for PvP, and you have to build up the second charge over time. Dodging with Gambler's Dodge also only refreshes 1 melee charge, so you might want to be smart about when you dodge to get that second charge back if you're really close to getting that first one. Each throwing star does 90 damage in PvP for a headshot and 61 damage for a body shot. The first hit on an enemy will slow the target and also ricochet off of targets and walls in order to hit other additional targets. A second star that hits the target will freeze them and set them up to be shattered in order to kill them. I was impressed with how fast you can throw these back to back. They are really so fun to use in both PvE and PvP. The next slot for the subclass is our grenade, for which we have 3 options. By the way, if you don't have all of them unlocked yet, you can earn them from completing the Born in Darkness quest on Europa after you finish the main campaign. The grenade you start with when unlocking Stasis for the first time is the Glacier Grenade. This one acts kind of like a void wall, except when it makes contact with a surface, it instantly grows a stasis crystal structure. These grenades have a ton of cool utility in PvP. You can use them to boost yourself up in the air like Mei from Overwatch, or throw them at a wall and create an instant platform to boost yourself up in the air with. In particular, I found these to be really excellent for taking some unexpected off angles to snipe from in PvP. You can also use them to make a wall to block an enemy's retreat, or to block them from getting to you. And if you're able to catch an enemy in the wall while you throw your grenade, they'll be frozen, which gives you a brief moment to shatter them. You and your enemies can also shoot or destroy these walls at any time. Destroying parts of the wall also deals splash damage, which can potentially get you some extra kills. The walls themselves also last quite a while. It seems to be around 15 seconds. The next grenade you unlock is the Duskfield Grenade. This one acts kind of like a black hole that pulls enemies in and also disorients and slows trapped enemies. If they don't escape the grenade within about 3 seconds, they become frozen. It also negates the ability to hunter dodge, but it seems like Icarus Dash on Warlocks are able to still get out of the area of effect. My favorite way to use these so far is to wombo combo them with the throwing stars. I'll typically throw the grenade first to trap enemies together, and then throw a star into the grenade which bounces around, and if you manage to get a kill, the shatter effect will often net you some bonus kills. The black hole effect from this grenade is pretty generous, and will often trap many enemies inside, especially on crowded control points. It seems to activate and pull people in as far away as about 9 meters, and it lasts for around 7 seconds total. The final grenade is what I believe to be the strongest so far, which is the Cold Snap Grenade. You throw this one near an enemy, which makes a line of stasis energy that tracks to the nearest target, and if it hits them, it will instantly freeze the target. It can also go on to track and hit multiple enemies in a row as long as they're close enough together. The tracking on these is pretty crazy. You need to be really careful to stay away if you see one of these get thrown at you. It's kind of amazing how good it is at tracking multiple enemies. Although there does seem to be some maximum tracking distance, as you can see in the clip here. This grenade deals a minimal amount of damage, but the real threat is that instant freeze. Using a hunter to break tracking or jumping away seems to be the best way to avoid getting frozen, but it can be pretty tough to avoid. While playing the competitive survival playlist trying to power level to 1260, we found that the teams that could effectively use the Cold Snap Grenade were incredibly difficult to play against. These are a total game changer, and honestly I think they might be a bit broken right now. Okay, now with the neutral game abilities covered, Let's talk about the super, Silence and Squall. This super acts kind of like a hybrid between a tether and a blade barrage. It summons two stasis commas that each do a different thing. The first throw creates an area of effect that freezes enemies trapped inside, and it can also kill with a direct hit. The second throw slows enemies and unleashes a devastating stasis tornado storm of death that rapidly damages any enemies nearby. You can choose to either throw both attacks on top of each other or to split them up. In PvP, I found the way I like to use the super depends on the situation. If it's a large area that I want to affect, I'll toss them apart from each other where I manually get kills on the first group that gets frozen, and then the stasis storm will get kills on its own. Against the super or in tight spaces like a control point though, I'll tend to throw both attacks on top of each other to focus them and really get the kills quickly. It's an interesting super and it's neat to use it both offensively and defensively as a pretty decent shutdown option. My only gripe is that I find I often jump too high while throwing it, which causes me to get stuck on those low ceilings. You really need to be careful when you're using it indoors so you don't waste your throws. Okay, now the next part of this guide is going to cover the aspects and fragments. Since this video is coming out only a few days after Beyond Light launched, we only have access to a few of the options. Once we have access to everything, I'm going to make an updated version of this guide covering all the different aspects and fragments, and I'll link to that one both in the description as well as the pinned comment for this video. In the meantime, I would recommend joining our community Discord so you get info on exactly how to unlock the rest of the subclass the moment it's available. The link to join is discord.gg/pattycakes. So the only aspect that we have unlocked as of the making of this video is the Shatter Dive. You can use your air move key to dive down from the air and shatter any nearby frozen targets. This works pretty similar to the Phoenix Dive ability on a Warlock if you've ever used that one. The attack does about 50 AoE damage to non-frozen enemies, so it can be a cool way to finish off targets that are a bit hurt. You also have a small ability to move laterally while you cast this ability, and it's really fun to use. There's also some potential to use this evasively. For example, if you jump up really high and you see a sniper aiming at you, maybe you can use this to get out of the way. As fun as shattering frozen targets is, I imagine we might have some future aspect options that are a little bit more suitable for PvP. Again, keep an eye on my upcoming video when we have everything unlocked, and I can share exactly how they all work with you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss that one. And finally for the Stasis Hunter, we have Fragments. These are additional perks that give bonuses and potentially alter stats. It seems that each week we'll have the ability to unlock 2 of these fragments to slot from the Exo Stranger. The ones that we have available to pick from right now are the Whisper of Hedrons, which gives you a bonus to weapon damage after freezing a target with stasis at the cost of -10 strength, Whisper of Fissures, which increases the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a crystal or defeat a frozen target, Whisper of Refraction, which grants you class ability energy after defeating slowed or frozen targets, Whisper of Durance, where the slow effect from your abilities lasts longer, it also gives you +10 strength, Whisper of Bonds, defeating frozen targets with weapons grants super energy, but at the cost of -10 intellect and -10 discipline, and Whisper of Shards, where shattering a crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional crystals increases the duration of this benefit, and it also grants +10 resilience. I suppose time will tell if we gain access to additional fragments. So far, the ones I've chosen to use for PvP are the Whisper of Durance for the improved slow effect, and Whisper of Hedrons for the damage boost after freezing a target. By the way, the damage boost from this seems to go from about 70 for Dire Promise up to 88, so it's pretty nice. So I hope you found this guide helpful. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite part of Beyond Light so far. I've been having a blast testing out all of the new abilities and weapons, and I'm excited to make a ton of build guides for you guys this season once we understand how everything works. If you're not subscribed yet, be sure to hit the sub button and also turn on notifications so you don't miss my next video. I also stream occasionally on Twitch. You can catch me live at twitch.tv/pattycakespc. By the way, if you haven't yet seen the new sniper Adored from this season, I did a quick video review on the weapon and I really like it. It's the top video on your screen over on the right side. The bottom one is whatever YouTube thinks that you might like the best. That's all for now. Catch you guys next time.